It's time to put up the Christmas tree. Now for a bit of Christmas controversy.
Controversy, Dad!
Had your reindeer? The point is that in recent years there's been a heated debate about whether Scotland and the rest of the UK are distinct or the same. And when you look at history, there can be few things that illustrate the division more than Christmas. Does that surprise you? Because they don't talk about it. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen. In the meantime, let me tell you this story. I almost didn't use those opening lines because I wanted to avoid controversy.
Controversy!
At this family time of year. And yet it's hard to avoid how much Christmas has been a mark of difference between those in the north and those in the south of the border. Just think for a minute when Christmas was finally imposed as a national holiday in Scotland and where that decision was made. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to talk to the Jews and the Muslims. Look, I know you guys have had your differences over the years, just like the folks in the other camera. I'm kind of hoping that we can put all that behind us and just tell the historical tale. And if you guys are good with that, then I'll try to keep them happy. But first, I'm going to let the Buddhists and the Hindus in. So there'll be an elephant in the room. Probably with 4 extra arms and maybe smoking a hookah hash pipe. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. Let's see how this goes, eh? Once upon a time, Christmas was harmonious and happy. There was fun, feasting and frivolity. People sung carols and celebrated the birth of the baby Jesus. Not you, I know. And then the Reformation happened. Some Christian folks thought that things had strayed away from the original meaning of the faith. Instead of a body of worshippers, the church had become an institution with top-down dictated rules and customs without any real connection to God. Some people wanted to get back to faith, piety and godliness, and they were prepared to kill anyone that would stop them. There was a lot of killing. But I don't need to tell you guys about that, do I? Now, the Reformation in Scotland happened quite late and with some fervour. People should go back to the Word of God and put aside the frippery of saints and saints' days and feast days that were never mentioned in the Bible. Whenever you read pre-Reformation accounts of events in history, they always happen on the day after this saint's day or 2 weeks before that feast day. All these saints' days were mince and havers, and good Scots Presbyterians saw them for the abomination that they were. Of course, even in God's country, there were the sinful who clung on to those superstitions like papists or Episcopalians from down south, rather than hold to the kirk in its higher calling. Well, there was a remedy for them. Those found playing, dancing and singing filthy carols on Yule Day. That's not me exaggerating. That's a quote from the Kirk session of Aberdeen in December 1574. On December the 26th, 1583, the Glasgow Kirk session sentenced 5 people who'd held Christmas celebrations to public repentance, to sit at the front of the kirk on the black stool to be admonished with the fornicators and the adulterers. Oh. Now, James VI tended a bit towards the Episcopalian for good political reasons. Better for the king to appoint bishops and control the church as was done in England, rather than the church electing its leaders bottom up like in Scotland. And when James moved south to become King of England in 1603, you can imagine how far he strayed from the straight and narrow path that led all good people to God. In 1617, James reinstated Christmas. he'd have us behave like all his heathen English subjects in those godless southern lands. Although I dare say there are some good Puritans amongst them. Although there's talk of them sailing off to the Americas. Now, when James died, his son Charles became king. Now, I don't need to tell you that things went badly with him and it all ended with English Civil War. But I'm going to give you a little factoid that you probably didn't realise. Now, the English Civil War started in 1642, but its roots were in Scotland in 1638. The struggle between the Episcopalianism of English kings imposing bishops and Scottish Presbyterianism got worse with Charles I. And it came to a head when the English prayer book was read out in St Giles Cathedral on Sunday the 23rd of July 1637. Now, there's no point in me going into all this. I've covered it in other videos that I've made on the channel, including Scottish causes of the English Civil War and the one about the Covenanters, the anti-Jacobites. Covenanters were the guys who signed a covenant to say that the king wasn't above the Scottish church and couldn't impose bishops in all those English ways. It led to the Bishops' Wars between 1638 and 1640. Now, when Covenanters got the better of Charles's forces, he went looking for money and opened an English parliament that turned out to be a Pandora's powder keg of the English Civil War. I thought this was about Christmas, you say. It is. Hod your wheesht. You see, not only did Charles end up with a parliament in England that opposed him, but in June 1640, the Covenanters in Scotland held a parliament in defiance of the absent king, during which they passed 65 pieces of legislation in 10 days, establishing the Committee of Estates, strengthening the powers of Parliament against the King, issuing letters of fire and sword against royalists in Scotland, making plans to invade England, and here's your factoid, abolishing Christmas. Invading England and abolishing Christmas went hand in hand. It was the same thing. The Act discharging the Yule Vicons made on the 2nd of June 1640 during that Parliament said, "The Kirk within this kingdom is now purged of all superstitious observation of days. Therefore, the said estates have discharged and simply discharged the foresaid Yule vacation and all observation thereof in the time coming, and rescind and annul all acts, statutes and warrants and ordinances whatever granted at any time heretofore for keeping the said Yule vacation with all custom of observation thereof, and find and declare the same to be extinct, void, and of no force or effect in time coming." Santa got the sack, and it would be empty for years to come. 5 years later, the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland forbade schools and colleges from taking a Christmas holiday. The students were raging, and they started bar the door days, where headmasters were locked out by their pupils as a protest. But December the 25th was a normal working day in Scotland, and the Kirk would punish folk for taking holidays like those heathen English. On the 29th of January 1650, the Dunfermline Kirk session summoned Bessie Cooper, Bessie Sands and William Malcolm for taking superstitious holidays on Yule Day. They probably would have got off with the charge if they'd carried a lucky rabbit's foot. Now, interestingly, the first union between Scotland and England brought a turn up for the books. See, a lot of folks will bang on about the union between Scotland and England in 1707, not realising that this was the second time a union has been imposed in Scotland. The first time was under Oliver Cromwell at the end of those civil wars that raged throughout the three kingdoms of the British Isles. But Cromwell took the same stance on Christmas as the Scots and banned Christmas everywhere. So even the Anglican apostates would have to come into line. Now, I'm sure you know that when Oliver Cromwell died, Charles II came back from the continent to be king. He unwound Cromwell's laws so that the first union between Scotland and England was abolished and life returned to normal. These southern Philistines went back to their superstitious celebrations, and we, pious Scots, could return to dreary, mundane, upright and godly Presbyterianism. That was a narrow escape. We were now free of Christmas.
Oh, take it down.
But Charles II did interfere with the Scottish Church, with bishops and ordinances, and putting himself above the church, and persecution of Covenanters that was so harsh they became known as the Killing Times. But worse than all the killings and Episcopalianism was the creeping incursion of Christmas. If you doubt just how political Christmas was, the next big event was when Charles's brother that followed him was ousted by William of Orange. The so-called Glorious Revolution must be one of the most significant political events in the history of these islands. At the behest of the Scottish Parliament in 1690, William and Mary signed another act discharging the Eau Vicomtes, reiterating the one made in 1640. You better take that down, eh? Now, if you're in Australia or New Zealand, here's something for you to take down. I'll be bringing a live history and comedy show, Stories of Scotland, Down Under in 2023. I'll be in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, Dunedin, and let me know if you'd like me to come to your town. Then I come back to Scotland to tour the show back home here. I'll leave a link for all the dates and tickets, home and away, in the description. Anyway, 5 years after the Second Scottish-English Union in 1707, that new Westminster Parliament made Christmas a Britain-wide celebration in spite of the so-called independence of the Scottish Church.
Are you serious?
I don't know. Of course, the Scottish Church still discouraged this English Christmas as a religious celebration, but the relentless pressure of Victorian Britain and Prince Albert and Christmas trees and Charles Humbug Dickens and changing mince pies from savoury to sweet. Who could resist them with cream, ice cream or custard? Damn you heathen English invaders!
Would you like a mince pie?
Oh, I don't mind if I do. Evil Sassenach. In 1871, that London Parliament used the Bank Holidays Act to make Christmas Day a bank holiday in Britain. You just knew the bankers would be involved, eh? The Dunfermline Press of December the 23rd, 1871 read, "We, in this land of Wishart and Knox, of confessions and covenants, have not yet learned to welcome Christmas with the same warmth of feeling as our brethren in the sister country. But the day is not far distant, we believe, when this great national festival of the Church will be observed with equal honour both sides of the Tweed. Not while I've got anything to do with it, bunch of yuns!" Excuse me. Lovely. My aunts, who for a long time brought me up, related that Christmas Day for them was a normal working day. Gifts would be exchanged at New Year, a far more godly time of year. Of course, as if the English weren't enough, the Americans got in the act, making films like A Wonderful Life. Oh, sneaky. Then, in 1958, Christmas became a public holiday in Scotland. And when I was born 6 years later, I grew up never realising that Scotland had been any different from England, and our journey towards the dark side was complete. When I was a kid, New Year was still the bigger celebration, but throughout my lifetime, that's been changing as well. Very soon, nobody will remember that things were different. They don't tell you that about a Scottish Christmas. Now, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off because it's Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. But another historic festive Scottish video is coming up on screen now. Share this and watch that. And if you want to support the channel, click the link top right and become a Patreon member, or buy me a coffee in the description below. In the meantime, Nolla Creole Hula Dunya agus a bliana maur. Sláinte.